What is the most overrated fashion brand?
Oh, I don't know. All the jumpers were like really in style with like the big print on the back. It's like,
Is that like the tiger thing?
God.
Starts with W. The one with the big tigers?
Sounds
Header?
like
Oh no.
Woolworths to me.
In Pretty Privilege Club, Woolworths is the #1 place to buy.
Well, by the way they're talking, that's what it sounds like.
no, it starts with W.
Oh, Ed Hardy? That doesn't sound like W.
Oh, Ed Hardy.
Oh, shit, this is next level.
Wed Hardy.
Wow.
Now, this woman is wearing Mr. Winston.
Yeah, that's what they keep zooming in.
Oh,
The chicks were.
yay. And in your opinion,
If only we were members of the Pretty Privilege.
I mean, I actually don't get this. It's just, I can't comprehend this stuff.
It's because you're not part of the
You're right. I'm not part of it, so I can't comprehend it.
Otherwise, you would shop at Wed Hardy.
Yeah, right. Wed Hardy that no longer exists.
See, this is one of the problems that they make this stuff about, oh, is beauty all that matters to you? When actually, maybe that's on you.
That's right.
Like, maybe it's on you to develop a personality that people would actually have things that they're interested in.
This is the thing. So many people worry so much about their physical appearance. Once they get 5 minutes into a conversation with someone, they're gone.
It's like they're completely delusional to the fact that I make these TikToks that only show off my looks, and then people don't understand like the deepness inside me about how smart I am about, I don't even know, my political breakdowns of how I would end the war in the Middle East because I'm so smart, right?
Because you can't actually form an opinion on it in the first place.
I mean, I'm sure she's heavily invested into ETFs and can break down why the interest rates are staying the same as opposed to the RBA bringing down interest rates
reckon
when
she
most people would, when there's a lot of political pressure on housing and, you know, a lot of people would say inflation rates are steady, so therefore, that, you know, they could bring them down. But the RBA makes a point and does the tough decision, which she would break down why the RBA is right to actually keep them at the correct rates rather than bring them down prematurely because it's a tough decision to make. Like, I'm sure she would explain that in higher detail, but she decided to make this video instead because Pretty Privilege.
You know, I reckon if you said the word inflation rate to her, it'd go straight over their head.
We could have a very strong discussion about inflation, and it would be the inflation in my pants, and that's about it. And how the RBA is trying to control the inflation in my pants. Because household spending is out of control, and that's why the inflation rate in my pants needs to be under control by the RBA. Which, of course, as we all know, is the Reserve Bank of my arsehole.
Oh,
If you're young and you're pretty, you do not want to make this mistake at work, especially if it's your first job in a male.
Take note, Marcus.
I'm taking notes.
I mean, you need none of these things, but take note
I'm
anyway.
taking notes. I got pen and paper.
So I'm a corporate lawyer. I've been in the industry for about 4 years now, and this is just what I've learned coming up the ranks. And doing this mistake will potentially cost you a lot of time and hinder your career, make you just a lot of enemies along the way. This is probably a controversial opinion, but if you're young and you're pretty, you do not want to look too attractive at work, especially if it's your first call.
We've been told this whole time that Pretty Privilege will make things better for you and you want to look good, and now she's saying, don't look good.
Now you're telling me the reverse.
Yeah. Can these pretty privileged people make up their minds? Are we meant to look good at work or are we meant to look bad? How am I going to get a free plastic bag if I come to work looking like trash?
Free plastic bags when you're going food shopping.
What do we want to do? Go to work looking like rubbish or something?
Well, you do normally, so.
That's true, actually.
Corporate job. You do not want to overdress and wear stilettos and like full face of makeup and going to work looking like that.
I agree. Wear lingerie to work. Fit in normally.
Usually there's normally a consensus of things when it comes to this kind of stuff, but
There is. You just don't understand it because you don't have
You're
pretty
right.
privilege.
I don't have pretty privilege. I don't think I'll ever understand this.
Everyone keeps talking about pretty privilege, but I think it's a double-edged sword, so let's talk about this. If it's a male-dominated industry, there's not going to be a lot of women to begin with in the first place, so women would naturally feel the need to compete against each other. And in the book 48 Laws of Power, the first rule is to never overpower your master, and by effectively showing off your youth and your beauty too much, that would threaten the very existence of the other women in the workplace. So that's something that you definitely don't want to do. In the first 2 years of my work as a trainee, I barely wore any makeup and I did not
Don't wear makeup to work.
pay much attention to my wardrobe at all.
Marcus, this is where you've been going wrong. You've been wearing makeup to work.
Yeah, I shouldn't be.
Yeah, the first 2 years of work, you wore makeup. This is what's held you back. You would have got a promotion otherwise.
So I shouldn't get a haircut again and go to work looking like a slob.
Yeah, cut the eyeliner and the lipstick.
Really style it up. You know, men are very visual creatures, right? So they get distracted easily by beauty, by youth, by your hair, by the way you smell. So it's not something you want them to focus on.
Okay, so don't fart at work either because you don't want the smell to distract the other males. We're learning a lot. And or as we just heard, don't have good hair.
It's hard for men, I think, to comprehend that there could be beautiful and smart women at the same time.
Hard for men to comprehend that there could be both. Yep. And pretty privilege, it's proven to us. Like, you know, if we've learnt anything, pretty privilege does kind of highlight how it's hard for men to understand that.
What the fuck? I'm just... My brain is actually about to explode at this point.
That's because you've glided through life on pretty privilege and you've never had to work for it.
Oh, thank you.
intimidates them in some way. So you want to downplay your beauty to let your intellect shine. And can you imagine if you're approached by a senior guy who wants to take you on a date and you're not interested in him and you turn him down? He's going to feel very embarrassed. Even if he doesn't say he's going to feel embarrassed. And the next time there's a good project opportunity that comes up, he will not be messaging you on Teams or Skype for you to join the project. He will approach someone else. So you're going to...
There's a very easy way around that. And this is what goes for everyone who works in a workplace where someone might be hitting on you or whatever. Invent a fake boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife.
Yeah.
And then you're good. Then just accidentally cheat if you find someone you like. And then you have to like skate through the fact that you're cheating on your imaginary boyfriend who lives in China who, well, he's going to be upset, but too bad for him.
I have played the role of a fake boyfriend to help female colleagues out in the past.
You're playing the role of a fake husband at the moment.
miss out on that exposure to be on a good, potentially good project or matter that you could learn a lot from. So what do you guys think? Do you agree?
Yeah, what do you
I
think?
don't know what to think at this point.
Okay, here's my hot take on pretty privilege. See how I looked really pretty in that first clip and it kept your attention?
No.
I digress. I will be using this graph to demonstrate my point. The y-axis...
Finally, we get some graphs. We need the science.
This is the first time someone has attempted to use any sort of data to define what it is.
Now, I love above it, it says dentist. Ask dad and info.
Yep.
Right?
You reckon they could have got this round the right way at least?
Yeah, it's very hard to follow when it's backwards.
The axis is someone's level of attractiveness. The x-axis is someone's level of privilege. Right here is an average-looking person treated with the bare minimum level of human decency. Now, for a woman...
The bare minimum human decency. That's why I'm not being treated with human decency. I'm not in the middle.
I don't get the bare minimum of either. Oh my goodness.
A high level of privilege, she has to be very pretty. We're talking Bella Hadid, Zoe Kravitz, whereas a man only has to be tall or take a shower and will receive this.
Damn it, that's what you've been doing wrong. You're not tall and you're not taking a shower. Guys, we finally cracked the code. Be tall, shower.
Oh, this is great.
The same level of privilege. Additionally, if a man and woman put the same minimum...
So a man who showers and is tall is the same level as Bella Hadid, is what she says.
Yep.
Been saying it for years. Glad that someone else is
Makes
reiterating.
perfect sense.
minimal level of effort into their appearance, no makeup, etc., the man is still treated as average and is in
Men who don't put makeup on are still treated as average. That's wrong.
fact still respected for his other attributes that carry worth. However, the woman is treated as subhuman because being pretty is the rent we pay for human decency and to exist in this world.
Being pretty is the rent that they pay for human decency.
Oh my goodness.
Science. I'm disappointed there's not a thesis, but you know, we'll take the X and Y axis.
Oh God.
Hi everyone, this is a list of things that I think are pretty privileged that I cannot explain. One is if you get picked by magicians for audience participation.
Now, Dad and I went to a magic show and he got picked to be in the thing. I didn't, so I guess my dad's hotter than me.
I'm not even gonna start code out that.
Marcus, you can just admit it. My dad's hotter than I am. Just say it. It was his pretty privilege that got him selected.
I don't even know.
Penn and Teller had the hots for my dad.
Yep.
It's a fact. I mean, they did select him randomly out of the crowd, so
Oh, dear God.
that means that Penn and Teller wanted to F my dad. And that is a threesome that I can't get out of my head.
You are screwed now. You are going to have that image in your head.
Or maybe that's just my thing.
Yeah.
3 is liking your birthday. Obviously.
If you like your birthday,
My God.
you know, when you turn 60 and you're in a retirement home, that's pretty privileged.
That's pretty-
If you enjoy the birthday cake.
I'm actually speechless with some of these things.
Do you think it was pretty privilege for JFK when Marilyn Monroe famously sang Happy Birthday, Mr. President? Was she singing it to him because he had pretty privilege? When she was like considered the hottest woman in the world at the time.
Well, he must have been a good-looking rooster.
4 is when you get randomly upgraded to TSA pre-check. This one could just be white privilege.
I would go the opposite. I think that actually, if you're pretty, they're going to do the opposite and make you go through extra checks because then they have to pat you down and they have to touch you all over.
I know of a scenario that pretty privilege works in the complete opposite direction, that you get more attention for the wrong reasons because you are pretty.
And that's because Marcus works at an airport and feels up all the pretty people that come through. Oops, our random detector detected 10 models in a row.
Exactly. In fact, there is definitely a button you can push on the wands for them to go off when you want them to.
Do you know how awkward it is when there's like a model convention on and they're all on the same flight and then 20 people in a row randomly get selected?
What a show. Yeah, sorry for the delay, everybody.
5, winning raffles. I don't know the math on this, but
I think the lottery too. The lottery is decided by pretty privilege.
Yep.
All right, team, we got 10 seconds to fix this problem. The game is on the line. It's all on you. 4th and inches. You know what that means. Hit subscribe, hit like, comment, share this with someone you know, and watch the next video.